For Tier 1, let's kick things off with a pretty basic level of demons. What bridges these demons together isn't just their capacity for violence, but their dependence on human vulnerability as a gateway. Toby from Paranormal Activity, also known as Asmodeus, hits this right on the nail, stalking bloodlines across generations with the patience of something that exists outside of normal time. Its arsenal spans from telekinesis to reality manipulation, yet his true weapon is watching you crumble mentally, waiting until families are isolated, fractured, and too broken to resist. The demon doesn't burst through doors. He dismantles your sense of safety, cabinet by cabinet, random doors unlocking and shit, until your home becomes his playground. Similarly, the lipstick-faced demon commands a realm in the further, but requires that ironic yet critical human error, astral projection. A gifted child, or someone who accidentally opens a door they can't close, which ultimately makes the possession process much easier. Without that initial vulnerability, he remains trapped in his domain, sharpening claws to vintage music while hunting those foolish enough to wander his territory. This tier thrives on exploited thresholds. Krampus doesn't hunt randomly. He arrives when belief in holiday spirit dies, punishing entire families through demonic elves and cursed toys before dragging them into this weird snow globe prison that mocks the concept of reality, allowing him to keep a close watch. These demonstrate how entities at this level win through cultural rot and corruption rather than apocalyptic destruction. Matilda Dixon's curse binds her to Darkness Falls, specifically after she was hung when 2 children went missing. Now, when children who dare try to take a peek at her face during that vulnerable moment when losing their last baby tooth, transforms a childhood milestone into a death sentence that internalizes through generations within one doomed town. I'm adding lesser deadites to this tier because they're basically considered demons but gain a lot of their powers and abilities from the Kandarian demon while being controlled as well. These can range from animals, humans, objects, or whatever, giving off like zombie vibes spreading through Necronomicon's influence. Doom's imps function as Hell's front line, also known, I think, as the Demon Troops, and most common characters you run across in the game. Individually manageable, but devastating in swarms that pin and distract defenders while heavier threats mobilize. The main themes for these demons across the board is that each requires special conditions, human mistakes, or localized scenarios to truly threaten survival, making them unfortunate to deal with, but not like world-ending compared to higher tiers. Moving up the ladder, these demons in Tier 2 stop playing around with simple scares and start weaponizing faith, trauma, and identity itself. Valak literally mocks Christianity by wearing a nun's fit, teleporting through abbeys, and corrupting the very institutions people run to for protection. When all hell breaks loose, most people will run to the church, but hell nah, not here. The demon doesn't just possess random victims, it targets hardcore believers, turning their safe havens into hunting grounds where crosses and prayers feel useless until someone like Sister Irene pulls up with actual sacred relics. Bagul takes a completely different angle, living inside images and these fucked up film reels like some ancient parasite that's figured out how to work a camera. Watch his tapes and you've basically signed up for the bullshit you didn't know existed, with the catch being that moving houses actually triggers the kill cycle instead of stopping it. Hellhounds from Supernatural don't just attack, they act like debt collectors of the soul with an accurate GPS. And once they come to collect, you gotta either break the contract, get the deal voided by a higher demon, or use some kind of special weapon like demon killing knives or angel blades to slow or kill the hounds. Damn near impossible for a regular person. Now the yellow eye demons, or princes of hell in the same show, are playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, focusing on long-term ways to cook civilization, spending decades manipulating bloodlines and setting up apocalypse triggers disguised as quote-unquote personal tragedy, where they create special children and free Lucifer through moves that look random until the endgame reveals itself. These aren't creatures reacting to opportunities, they're running coordinated operations. Kazan Yamaoka, the Oni from Dead by Daylight, brings the raw samurai brutality into demon form, absorbing blood orbs from injuries to fuel a berserker state where he charges these insane one-hit kills and has super speed. He's not strategizing long-term plans. He's pure relentless aggression that gets stronger the more you bleed, turning any wound into fuel for his rampage. The main focal point for this tier is how they turn your mind and relationships into weapons. The smile entity creates a trauma-based contagion where every suicide spreads the curse, engineering public deaths and some of the gnarliest scenes I've watched that guarantee fresh victims in an endless chain. The Babadook manifests directly from repressed grief and trauma, growing stronger when you deny it and act like everything is all good. It's like a cutthroat therapist that makes you either accept your trauma and process it correctly, or it'll drive you crazy. Regardless, I've never looked at a pop-up book the same after this movie. Abalam from The Last Exorcism works a similar manipulation angle, but layers in cult coordination, possessing Nell and showing some of the craziest contortions I think we've seen in movies, while fake priests and believers stage the whole thing to hide a demonic birth ritual tied to Paimon worship. The demon's goal isn't just possession, it's to orchestrate entire communities into breeding programs for future vessels, basically long-term demonic farming operations disguised as religious hysteria. Annabelle's demon Malthus plays the same manipulative games through the doll, starting with harmless tricks but ramping up into full possession once you've emotionally invested in the sad girl spirit story. Wrapping up this tier, I wanted to talk about Azazel from Fallen, who operates as the ultimate paranoia engine, a fallen angel who body hops through simple touch. Every handshake, brush in a crowd, or friendly pat becomes a potential transfer point, meaning cops, witnesses, friends, even your own family can become his puppet without warning. The only theoretical way to trap him is isolating yourself completely, poisoning your body so when he jumps in there, there's nowhere left to go, though even that fails in the movie. There is more lore and mythology to tier him higher and give him greater feats, but to not make this video multiple hours, we're just gonna stick to the cinematic references for most of these titles. The connecting thread again for tier 2 is psychological warfare that makes isolation damn near impossible. Now here's the thing about tier 3. These entities have figured out how to scale beyond individual victims into something that threatens entire populations through systems, curses, or just raw power. Paimon doesn't chase you down hallways. He orchestrates generational cult networks that manipulate your family tree decades before you're even born, grooming bloodlines until the perfect male vessel just happens to be ready for his grand arrival. A little more dedication than Albalam in the last tier. Crowley from Supernatural runs hell's bureaucracy like a twisted CEO, cutting crossworld deals that reshape economies and resurrect key players, destabilizing entire regions because the chaos just makes him happy. Exploiting loopholes in deals is the only way to kind of steer clear of his bullshit. Both Paimon and Crowley show how this tier wins through institutional control, embedding themselves so deep into power structures that pulling them out collapses everything around them. Audria from Diablo perfects this strategy, pretending to be an ally for years, helping trap demon lords in the Black Soul Stone, only to betray everyone and birth the damn prime evil. Next, we're talking about the legendary Sadako's cursed tapes from the Ring that transfers a weird, mutated smallpox-based virus, giving you 7 days to live unless you curse someone else by copying the footage. Chayako from The Grudge operates on even simpler rules. Step in that damn house and you're marked forever. No timer, no conditions, just inevitable death that follows you anywhere. Then you have demons like the Creeper, who wakes up every 23rd spring for 23 days of hunting, smelling fear, and replacing his damaged organs by harvesting yours, turning rural highways into feeding grounds where your only hope is outlasting his biological alarm clock. I still get the chills when I hear that song. What really separates these demons from lower tiers is their ability to spread. Once Sadako goes digital through streaming or viral uploads, she becomes a global pandemic where every view is a potential infection. Kayako's curse can travel through moved objects all the way up to demolition crews, spawning entire neighborhoods of dead houses that make her reach damn near unlimited. Molazar from the Keep slaughters entire Nazi squads as a glowing energy form before manifesting into a hulking golem. As beautiful as it is to see Nazis getting their ass demolished, only a specific talisman-wielding champ can force him back into confinement. The Cenobites and Engineers I put in this tier as well because they basically function as Hell's middle management, summoned through puzzle boxes to drag victims into their dimension for internal torture, with chains that ignore physics and rules that only bend through clever deals rather than brute force. Elite Deadites like Henrietta prove the Necronomicon can turn single possessions into town-wide outbreaks, levitating and neck-stretching through basements while promising to swallow your soul. She was low-key scary as hell, just off how she looked, to be real. This class of demons thrives on multiplication and brutality, whether through cult networks, viral curses, or demonic armies. Like I said, they've graduated from hunting individuals to just wreaking havoc on populations in a crazy way. Tier 4 hits different because these demons have stopped playing defense and started rewriting the rules entirely. Pinhead legit gave me nightmares growing up. He doesn't just torture victims. He's Hell's architect, commanding chains that rip through dimensions while building new Cenobites from captured souls like some twisted assembly line. His whole operation scales through mass curiosity. Flood the world with these weird configuration puzzle boxes, and suddenly, every enthusiast becomes a doorway, turning global thrill-seeking into an industrial soul harvest. The tall man from Phantasm uses the logistics angle, teleporting through dimensional forks to harvest graveyards and shrink corpses into these, honestly, slaves for his pan-dimensional empire, treating entire towns like resource hubs that feed his endless army across multiple realities. Then you have dream manipulation at this tier, which becomes actual reality manipulation. I put Freddy Krueger here because he weaponizes sleep itself after dream demons supercharge his vengeful spirit, reshaping physics inside nightmares where he's functionally as real as it gets, and kills translate to death in the real world. Scale that up, and you're looking at a networked global insomnia, turning the collective unconscious into his playground, with reality crumbling as billions of minds could become potential gateways. Now, entities like Legion from Castlevania demonstrates what happens when death itself becomes self-perpetuating, a floating ball of corpses that grow with every conflict, turning war zones into feeding grounds where each body absorbed makes the shell thicker and the core stronger. What elevates this tier beyond just urban legends is their ability to field actual military threats and erase conventional defenses. Combat-focused demons at this level bring firepower that erases squads instead of individuals. Let's talk Demon Slayer for a minute. Akaza and Doma serve as Muzan's elite generals in the upper moon, moving at insane speeds with techniques that kill Hashira level fighters in direct combat, people who specialize in killing demons and basically the strongest swordsman in the verse. My personal favorite, Akaza, loves throwing hands, and his shockwave attacks and predictive movements allowed him to murder Rengoku, one of the coldest Hashira we get to see, and the dude was enjoying the fight so much he tried to recruit him mid-fight. That's just next level. Then you have Doma, whose cryokinesis freezes victims, cooking cells on contact while he smiles through everything. We see him take on multiple Hashira and get to see up close why he's one of the strongest demons in the verse. Kokushibo floods battlefields with crescent moon blade barrages that appear before anyone registers movement, representing what happens when elite fighters switch sides and bring centuries of techniques into demon form. If you have to face him, all I can say is good luck. Against these demons, humans don't stand a chance, and without the Hashira, they can easily erase populations with relative ease. Now, the Balrog of Moria represents raw, elite tier corruption, an angelic spirit twisted into living fire and shadows that soloed entire dwarf kingdoms and turned Moria into a tomb just by existing there. Asmodeus commands the Shendom and Hell's political infrastructure as a prince, thinking in cosmic chess moves, where he doesn't need to personally destroy cities when he can possess world leaders and orchestrate biblical-scale demon outbreaks through bureaucratic channels. Even mythic Pazuzu, at full power, ditches personal combat for atmospheric weaponry, commanding wind demons to spread plagues across trade routes and turn agriculture into famine, killing nations through crop failure and disease rather than direct confrontation. These demons don't even need to hunt you. They could easily transform civilization itself into something that feeds them, whether through fear, death, or complete systematic collapse that makes survival meaningless even if you're still breathing. Tier 5 is where demons stop wrecking cities and start wrecking systems. These are the beings who don't need to kill you to win. They just change the rules of the world until humanity becomes a poorly written side quest. They're not quite tier 6, where reality collapses like wet cardboard, but they're well past most demons we've covered on a surface level to this point. This tier is home to demon royalty and walking natural disasters, boss level shit. Take Makima for example, the CEO of controlling people. She doesn't just defeat enemies, she human resources them into submission. She embodies control, literally. If she looks at you long enough, you'll start volunteering for shit you didn't even know existed. Devils, soldiers, world leaders, they all fold like cheap lawn chairs. An assassination? Forget it. Try to kill Makima, and her contract with the Prime Minister redirects the damage to a random citizen. So, instead of mission accomplished, you end up with, "Sir, we hit Makima and 12 grandmas died." Not ideal. Give her a few weeks running the place, and suddenly, Japan looks like a polite dystopia, where everyone listens, no one rebels, and your own national population is basically the ammo supply for her execution powers. She doesn't rule the world with fear. She rules it with management skills and a smile that means, "You work for me now." And she's not alone in this. Alistar from Hazbin Hotel strolls into hell and becomes an overlord because he's just bored. His idea of entertainment is turning murder into broadcast entertainment while commanding other demons like stage props in his vintage radio horror show. He and Makima could easily cook a region or scale to affect a country without a doubt. Then you have the reality manipulators, the ones who treat physics the way toddlers treat coloring books. Wishmaster is the king here. He doesn't just grant wishes, he weaponizes grammar. One poorly worded wish, and suddenly you're a mural on the nearest wall. Compared to him, Hastar from Tumbad is damn near on the same page, except he's a cursed primordial god who hands out infinite gold and infinite ruin at the same time. He's proof that if you chase money long enough, you eventually get eaten in a red womb cave by a starving demon wearing a damn diaper. They corrupt the relationship between humans and their desires until civilization cannibalizes itself through deals, wishes, and transactions that seem beneficial until the hidden cost becomes apocalyptic. Lucifero's badass from Black Clover demonstrates raw gravitational authority as the king of devils. His presence crushes everything in range until bodies become waste and armies collapse under pressure fields that legit bend life itself. With his emergence through the Tree of Clifoff, or the Tree of Death, opened gates for underworld invasions where he's just the spearhead. Biological and elemental dominance reach civilization-ending scales here. Muzan Kibutsuji splits his body into thousands of pieces and can almost regenerate instantly while creating demons through blood transfusion. And the more blood he gives you, the more overpowered you get. Essentially, franchising across feudal Japan with himself as the immortal origin point that only fails because he can't quite conquer sunlight yet. In that same breath, Kurima from Naruto vaporizes mountains with tail beast bombs and reshapes scenes through chakra outputs so extreme that even sealed at half power, he overpowers multiple other Biju, turning him into a tactical nuke that erases armies. Dabura from Dragon Ball Z petrifies anyone who pulls up with his stone spit, who could damn near transform cities into straight up statue museums, where one droplet means permanent death that only reverses if you kill the Demon King himself. the power ceiling pushes heavy towards God tier when you factor in beings operating at or near divine authority. Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins, in assault mode, absorbs commandments until his magic powers reveal the demon kings wielding the full counter that literally bounces off humanity's strongest weapons and attacks back amplified, while his darkness manipulation treats kingdoms as overnight casualties. Ryzen represents battle god status in the demon realm's hierarchy, where even starving, he matches other kings, and a fully fed prime version would erase entire continents of demons. Humans wouldn't even register as combat threats, just food that makes him stronger. Inuyasha, wielding Tetsaiga, near peak, can kill hundreds of demons per swing and cut through dimensions, though the real threat comes if his full demon form breaks free permanently and transforms a half-demon protector into a berserk yokai warlord that flattens armies without distinguishing friend or foe. What unifies this tier is its operational scale. They don't just destroy nations through effort, they reshape them through inherent authority, whether that's Alistar's entertainment empire, Makima's control networks, or Lucifero's gravity fields that force entire populations to theirs. Victory stops being about combat and becomes about exploiting contracts, emotional bonds, or sealing techniques, because you're not fighting a demon anymore. You're negotiating with a freak of nature that's already rewritten the battlefield in its favor. Tier 6 exists where physical reality becomes optional and humanity shifts from protagonist to background scenery in someone else's cosmic drama. Trigon from DC conquers dimensions as a hobby, manifesting fully to transform entire planets into hellscape vacation resorts rather than bothering with traditional invasions because no one could keep up. Then you have demons like Sukuna at 20 fingers who doesn't need universe-breaking scale to qualify. His curse technique, influence, and straight aura carves nations into conceptual sushi rolls, whereas domain expansion alone rewrites the rules of engagement for everything trapped inside. Lucifer Morningstar from Supernatural escalates beyond simple destruction by jump-starting the apocalypse as entertainment, throwing in Croatoan virus side quests and Angel Civil Wars that turn Earth into collateral damage between celestial factions. Raw primordial force reaches landscape-altering extremes when God of War's Titans and Primordials entered the conversation, where single punches birth new oceans and continental shells get redrawn as casual fight choreography. Astaroth with Soul's Edge at full corruption becomes a siege engine fueled by demon blood that marks the end of entire historical eras, not through strategy, but through existence itself becoming a corruption vector. Then you have overpowered demons like Pennywise's clown persona that functions as customer service for the dead lights, the actual cosmic predator lurking in the macroverse that feeds on fear across dimensional boundaries that's way more scarier than just the clown, and treats reality like a buffet where human terror is just the appetizer. All these demons demonstrate how Tier 6 is moving different and approaches existence as a sandbox they can reset whenever the current build stops amusing them. Philosophical manipulation becomes a weapon at this level, through demons who administrate causality itself. Void from Berserk edits fate like spreadsheet data, tweaking probability streams so that humanity's trajectory bends towards predetermined sacrifices and demonic ascension, making free will a convincing illusion maintained for narrative purpose. Satan Ryu Asuka from Devilman Crybaby doesn't conquer through military might. He accidentally triggers global paranoia cascades, mixing demons and divine intervention until Earth becomes a cracked marble floating in dead space, proving that cosmic tier emotional trauma can end civilization more efficiently than direct punches. Dante scales to this tier not from ambition but capacity, a half-demon whose dormant potential could unmake multiverses if he actually tried, and with his feats and potential, we could definitely scale him here. And then to round it off, we have biblical infrastructure threats through demons who rewrite theological timelines. Lilith unlocks Lucifer and kicks off Supernatural's apocalyptic machinery, while Cain was literally built as a weapon against the darkness, and Abaddon manipulates history through time travel backed by demonic legions, operating on scales where humanity becomes a historical footnote between angel wars and cosmic recalibrations. The unifying factors here aren't just destruction, it's irrelevance. Lower tiers need humanity as victims, fuel, or entertainment. Tier 6 operates in spaces where planets are props, timelines are rough drafts, and gods start sweating because these demons treat universal law like terms of service nobody actually reads. You don't fight these entities. You survive their presence and hope they finish their business before your dimension gets reformatted. Tier 7 is just broken. These demons operate where reality becomes optional infrastructure, and demons transform from threats into fundamental administrators of existence itself. Alucard, in Release State 0, unleashes every consumed soul as a walking apocalypse before absorbing Schrödinger to achieve quantum existence, spending years killing alternate versions of himself until he's the only probability state that can manifest. Not power scaling, but metaphysical debugging with a genocidal kick. Rimuru Tempest ascends past conquest into cosmic organization. This is one of the most cracked demons I think I've seen in anime, stacking ultimate skills like Azathoth and Shub-Niggurath while casually rewriting biological laws across dimensions, essentially becoming a multiversal systems administrator who could patch update reality into, let's just say, fewer inconvenient mortals, but chooses customer service instead. So far, these demons show how this tier shifts from destruction to authorship, where beings don't break universes so much as decide whether maintaining them is worth the effort. Contractual manipulation reaches timeline-altering extremes through entities who treat continuity like negotiable terms. Mephisto rewrites Marvel's entire fabric because he felt like lawyering up, tricking heroes into deals that alter fundamental reality through fine print and cosmic litigation. The Void Lords from Warcraft operate as patient corruptors, hurling old gods at world souls like dimensional dodgeballs, hoping to spawn Void Titans capable of devouring creation from the inside out, not through immediate force, but through infection that turns gods into weapons against themselves. Nyarlathotep stands apart from sleeping outer gods, but actively walking reality in custom avatars, poking civilizations into madness because stirring the pot just entertains him more than oblivion. Functioning as an apocalypse cleanup crew, where the real horror is that he's deliberately present and engaging with his victims. Probability and control become weaponized at existential levels through beings who reshape possibility itself. Anti-spiral fights spiral evolution by weaponizing probability manipulation, freezing species in dimensional stasis, and throwing galaxies like projectiles because unchecked growth might trigger universal implosion. Nihilism so advanced it builds prison dimensions to protect reality from itself. Yaldabaoth transforms humanity into obedient NPCs through the God of Control's influence, turning free will into an exploitable bug until Joker summons Satanel and literally shoots Divinity in the face with Sinful Shell, proving that even conceptual deities collapse when narrative rebellion hits hard enough. These aren't combatants operating within reality's frameworks. They're editors deciding which frameworks deserve to continue existing. What brings Tier 7 collectively together is definitional authority over existence rather than simply operating within it. Lower tiers need victims, territories, and conflicts similar to Tier 6. But this classification treats universes as furniture arrangements they can redecorate, time as a toy with adjustable settings, and death as an inconvenient tutorial message that better entities bypass entirely. Let's make it clear, you don't fight these demons because combat implies shared operational space. Instead, you negotiate, worship, or carefully avoid eye contact while they decide whether your dimensional branch is worth maintaining, or if the whole thing needs scrapping for a cleaner build. Previous tiers break things. But Tier 7 demons author the conditions under which things can be broken, making them not obstacles to overcome, but fundamental premises you either accept or get written out of. The terrifying part isn't their power ceiling, it's that they're consciously choosing to engage with reality at all, when they could simply redefine it into something more convenient and to their style.